Eating raw foods is great. First of all, it saves time. I was getting a little tired of cooking, and your health improves. And even though I've studied all kinds of different types of natural medicine, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, homeopathy, aromatherapy, all of which is great, if people would just eat more raw foods, they'd probably find that their health improved. So save money, better health. Oh, the save money part. It used to be that I would go to the grocery store and my husband and I, for $100, would have one bag of groceries. Now we have like 4. Who wouldn't want to do that? Saves time, saves money, better health. It just seems like the right thing to do. It saves energy. Think of how much energy the planet could save if everybody cooked less or didn't cook at all. And it seems that when we cook our food, we kill the nutrients. There's really nothing that improves from cooking. I mean, you might say, well, beta carotene is better absorbed, or the lycopene, but when I really think about what cooking does to food, it doesn't really improve it that much, and it doesn't even really improve the flavor because you have to add so many, butter and salt. I'm finding I use herbs but very little salt, and the food tastes incredible. Just makes all the sense in the world. One other benefit is it's easier to clean. There's no soaking the lasagna pan and letting it you have to scrub it for hours. Now everything just rinses and you pop it in the dishwasher. Who wouldn't want an easier time cleaning in their life? There's so many reasons, and those are just the top 5 that I can think of. I'm Brigitte Mars. I'm an herbalist and nutritional consultant. I teach herbal classes and teach at the Rocky Mountain Center for Botanical Studies at Naropa, the Boulder College of Massage. And I've been working with all kinds of natural medicine for over 30 years. I've really explored many, many things. And here I am in the middle of my life, and I'm so excited about this new, easy, health-giving path, and I feel better than ever. And I also have a private practice, and I'm finding that even though I still talk to people about herbs and nutrition, that what I really want to do is bring them down into the kitchen and my garden and show them how easy this can be. It's not a question of denying oneself. It's saying yes. It's saying yes to health and life and energy.
How long have you eaten raw foods?
Well, I played around with the raw experience maybe 26 years ago. I lived in Miami. I had a natural foods restaurant there called the Supernatural. And there was this group of people that lived in the jungle close by called the Fruitarian Jungle. And Viktoras Kulvinskas was a frequent visitor there, and he came in my restaurant. So I tried the raw thing back then, had read Survival into the 21st Century. And then I moved here to Colorado. And when I tried, telling people, oh, I'm raw, they would say, what? No one does that around here. Macrobiotics is where it's at. It's too cold to eat raw food. Also, 26 years ago, there wasn't a lot of organic produce available in health food stores, maybe apples and carrots. That was about it. So this recent raw experience for me has been about the past 10 or 11 months. So there's so many more kitchen gadgets that make it really easy. There's so many more wonderful books written about so that you can get great recipes. And there's also more people doing it. So you feel wonderful community support. And we have an abundance of natural food stores that have lots of organic produce. So it seems like the time is really ready to make this available for people.
Do you eat, are you 100% raw?
I am 99.9% raw. I visited my mom in Arizona last week and was, just trying to show her I could be a little flexible. But it feels best to be as close to 100%, and almost every day is 100%. But I don't want to make a great inconvenience that if, some situation presents itself, and I don't want to lock myself in a box, but I choose to be as raw as possible. And it seems that I'm really sensitive, so if I do eat something that's not raw, it really doesn't feel right. And I've kind of said I want to give myself the space or the permission that if I really feel like eating something cooked, I would, but I'm really not quite clear on what would be worth it. You know, and almost every, thing that you think like, oh, I like pizza. I make pizza. I love lasagna. I make raw lasagna. So I'm going to make raw Mexican food this week. So any of the things that I think I really miss, it feels so much better to be able to make them raw and righteous. So I'm also working on Indian food. So what is really such great news is that all the things that you think you miss, chocolate, there's a raw alternative, a way to do it healthier.
You have history here in Boulder as being a healer for 20-something years, at least as long as I've been here. Now, there's a couple of questions I want to ask you about that. I know you use herbs for healing. Isn't the best way or the standard way of using herbs to boil them and steep them? And does that, in the raw perspectives, does that damage anything that's valuable in the herbs?
That's a really good question. Well, first of all, herbs are wonderful. I love them. Always will. It's possible to eat a lot of them, that you can make a salad and include lemon balm and peppermint and rosemary and sage and oregano. So you can certainly use the herbs raw. I use a lot of cilantro, a lot of parsley. A lot of, you can blend them into salad dressings. So you can use them fresh as food. You can also use them dried in food as well. And yes, you can make tea, but I'm finding that a lot of my favorite teas, you can just pour cold water on them overnight and strain them the next day. I did that with red clover blossoms the other day and drank about a half gallon of red clover tea, and it came out just as dark and just as flavorful as it always did. So I'd like to explore even more possibilities of using herbs in their raw, fresh state. I sometimes do drink tea and have warmed it up just because I'm sitting at my computer and it feels good and it's a cold day. And that doesn't really seem to bother me or make me feel like I'm lowering this great high I get from eating raw foods. But what really excites me is that almost everything can be done raw, and I'm really looking forward to the summertime where I'll do that. One herb that I never could have believed you can use raw is nettles. All the traditional herbal books say nettles loses its sting if it's cooked or if it's dried, so you can eat it dried. But I made nettle pesto, raw nettle pesto, and it didn't sting your mouth at all. And what a great recipe. How fun.
Are there any other ways that your methods and your healing practice have changed because of the raw food diet?
Yes. One other raw method is a lot of the herbs can be juiced. So if you think, I really could use basil, it's an antidepressant, or St. John's wort, you could add a little bit to a vegetable juice that you're making. So I'm finding that by being so inspired about raw foods, rather than offering, here's the herbal Band-Aid or here's the vitamins that you need, not to give any of that any, disrespect, although I love herbs much more than vitamins because they're time-tested by millions of people for thousands of years. I'm finding that it'd be even better if people would look at the cause of the thousands of diseases that we have. And if what we were doing was so right, why would we need thousands of herbs to treat thousands of diseases? So it seems that putting raw food therapy first, along with having great relationships and, all the other stuff I love, like feng shui and a good spiritual life, it certainly makes sense to incorporate raw, and then you won't need to heal so much because you already be healthy.